Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Muhammad Mainul Hussain and I'm studying at the University of Malaya and in the Master's Research at the Faculty of Arts and Social Science and in the Department of Media and Communication Studies. So I'm going to be presenting our research paper to you today. So the topic of this study is the role of social media in promoting crowdfunding, a new paradigm to skirmish the natural disasters. So this is the outline of the presentation. This introduction, problem statement, research gap, literature review, methodology and data analysis, discussion and finding and conclusion and later references. So what is going on in this global crisis? As the topics is mentioning that the crowdfunding is one of the source to alleviate the or reduce the poverty in the natural disasters areas. So we can see that the global crisis we are living at the age of frequent global crisis nowadays. So the causes of the crisis have been building up for decades. Recently, more dramatic changes have been noted, such as melting of glaciers, ice caps, land ice, and rapidly rising ocean temperatures, as well as rising sea levels, extreme weather events, drought, and many more. So many of these are the consequences of the climate change effect, because the climate change has led to us to a global crisis, and that goes well beyond climate change into every aspect of human life on earth. So it is not just merely a global environmental crisis, but it also brings economic, social and crisis to the maximum extent. So most of the crises are getting worse day by day and causing huge damage to the human and animal kind. So this is how it was with the crisis of first two decades, first two world wars, and that is how it is now with the global crisis. So nature of the crisis, we can see the nature of the crisis that global crisis can be generated in two ways or two forms. These are the natural disasters or the man-made disaster. What we understand for the natural disaster. Actually, natural disaster is a sudden, it's catastrophic event caused by the natural process of the earth, and different types of natural disasters including floods, earthquakes, hurricanes, volcanic eruption and many more. So in this table, as we can see, the most top 7 deadliest disasters that are happen, the most top the top 7 deadliest disasters happened in 2019. As you can see here, the table indicate that the first country is United States in 2019 December. That the disaster is tomato outbreak. So the people from the Louisiana, Mississippi and the Alabama are the most affected. And another crucial deadliest disasters where we can see in 2019 November in Australia, bushfire, that at least 33 people have died and 3,000 homes destroyed, and also other animal also included. And consecutively, Africa, Japan and China and India also affected, and many people and also their assets and homes and other property has been lost in these deadly disasters. So what we understand the man-made crisis? Man-made crisis, it can be So it is the crisis resulting from human intent, negligence, or interior. So this man-made crisis can be made intentional or unintentional, may happen. So resulting huge loss of life and property. So it further affects a person's his mentality, physical, and also social well-being. So there are several factors to cause man-made disasters, such as ignorance and illiteracy. So we can see in this table or in this chart that in this table the types of disasters. Like disasters, it can be global financial crisis, economical financial crisis. It can be happen also economic recession or protectionism. When we come to the political crisis, we can see, and under the political crisis, war crisis can be happen, immigration crisis can be happen, and nowadays and recently we can see from the many countries, the developing countries, the people are coming or people are immigrant to other countries. And social crisis, under the social crisis we can see here the corruption, starvation, famine, and accident crisis. Those crises are the recent crises that are going to this global problem. So how the problem we can face this study is by global crisis, particularly natural and man-made disasters. Every year people are losing their valuable assets, become a homeless, financial constraints increasing tremendously, raising immigrants. Most immigrants are come from the Africa, Middle East, South, and Asian countries, and this global crisis can make also war and social violence around the globe. So therefore aid, especially international financial aids, need to overcome from this severe crisis. However, magnitude of the crisis is very large, and aid organizations are unable to cover this crisis, and developed countries are cutting aid support over the past years. We can see the United Nations, according to the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs in 2019 report, they stated that donors have been generous in providing assistance, nearly doubling their contribution for the inter-agency appeals from US 5.6 billion in 2011 to 10.4 billion in 2014. However, this financial need still lacking incoming support. In 2011, the funding gap was 37%, which equivalent 3.3 billion, and in 2014 this increased to a record 40%, which equivalent to 6.9 billion. And at the same time, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development in 2019 stated that foreign aid from official donors in 2018 fell, which is 2.7% from 2017, with a declining share going to the neediest countries. So in this figure, we can see the drop was largely due to less aid being spent on hosting refugees as arrival slowed, and rules were tightened on which refugees' costs can come out of official aid budgets. So how this problem will be solved, and how this global crisis will be solved, or what is the solution for this global crisis that are caused by natural disaster and also other climate change. So we found that we found of this study the main gap here crowdfunding is the best possible solution to overcome this global crisis. By crowdfunding project and campaign, it is possible to alleviate or reduce the global crisis. According to United Nations 2015 and 2016, they stated that crowdfunding enables people to donate directly to another person or project. So this removes intermediary organization funding and moves one step closer to direct assistance. So these efforts bring funding closer to the affected people. In 2013, the World Bank reported that crowdfunding is a mechanism by which business enterprises or any other organization collect necessary funds in the form of either investment or donation from numerous individuals to fulfill the financial requirements. So these are the type of crowdfunding. So in general, there are several types of crowdfunding campaigns that differ in various purposes. Some campaigns raise funds for non-profit, while others collect money for profit project on organization. So to determine the best approach to crowdfunding for emergencies, the current study describes 4 types of crowdfunding models, which are donation-based crowdfunding, donation-based crowdfunding. We understand donation-based crowdfunding. It is a way to source money for a project by asking a large number of contributors to individually donate a small amount to it. So another crowdfunding, which is reward-based crowdfunding. Reward-based crowdfunding, actually it is a way to source money for a project by asking a large number of contributors to individually donate a small amount to it. And debt-based crowdfunding actually is where the funders lend money to individuals or the business owners and expect the future repayment of a principal with or without interest. And equity-based crowdfunding, where founder invests in campaign owners and receive equity or equity-like shares in return for their investment. So in this figure, we can see the global overview of crowdfunding, where crowdfunding worldwide fund raising. So in 2014, the crowdfunding raised 597.14 million, which is in 2016 the crowdfunding raised highly 738.9 million. So most of the crowdfunding countries that are investing in this platform, which are the mostly United States of America, where they invest 344 in this platform, and consecutively the United Kingdom, France, Italy, Spain, Germany, and Australia and Asian and African countries that are invest in these platforms. So this is the literature review of this current studies. So to explain crowdfunding project and campaign in every corner of the world, social networking platform is one of the best way to promote crowdfunding. So how social media can promote crowdfunding to support human development? So we can see that the Garber, he emphasized that Web 2.0 is prerequisite to develop crowdfunding platform which use web technologies and online payment system to facilitate transaction between fundraisers and donors. The role of social media in crowdfunding has begun to receive attention from scholars in information system.